It's Man City versus Liverpool in this weekend's standout game, with both Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp spending big in the transfer market. Both managers were, however, left wanting more.
I think they're both big names, as we all know, big managers, and obviously fantastic managers, but I think they'll look at last season and wanting to have learned the lessons where they went wrong. And I think certainly from Pep's point of view, that the players that he's brought in, it looks more like a Pep Guardiola squad. And Klopp the same, you know, we all know how he wants to play, high energy. He's got a lot of young, fit, athletic players in there. Pep wants to play with a lot of youth and a lot of pace in his team, you know, and the signings are both made mirror both managers more than anything else. Are they both under big pressure at the minute? I don't think so. But if they are, the experience they've got, I think they'll thrive in it.
I think they both would have liked to have got more players in. I think City would have liked to have got Sanchez in. You know, there's no, you know, we all know that. I think Liverpool would like to have got Van Dijk in, and well, maybe City would like to have got Van Dijk in as well. I think they both would have liked maybe one or two more players. But I think the players they've signed are probably similar. You know, I think Liverpool getting Oxlade-Chamberlain, and I know he had his critics for the England game, but he's a good young player. He's an English player, and I think he was a good signing long term for Liverpool. I think he'll see the best in him under Klopp, and I think with the signings of Silva, Mendy and Kyle Walker at Man City, they've all strengthened the squad, there's no doubt about that. I think that was an area that Man City highlighted last season, especially at the full-back areas. They needed to improve. They have improved them. But I think Pep may be disappointed that he never got Sanchez in, and I think a lot of people were a little bit surprised. You know, obviously that he could go at the end of the season on a free next year.
Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was a surprise addition to Liverpool during the transfer window, but will the England international get that first-team football he so desires at Anfield?
Well, listen, the one thing that any football fan, Liverpool fans are no different, is the hard work and the endeavour and wanting to play for that shirt. You know, if you've got that at Liverpool, you know, in any football club, they love that, and it's the effort, the work rate, the quality will come out. He's a good player, so once you've got the work rate, and I think he'll fit into the team pretty quick. You know, he knows a few of the boys anyway. He's played alongside Jordan Henderson for England and stuff. It's just where he's going to play. I think that's the intriguing thing again. You know, with Liverpool being back in the Champions League this year, you know, he's going to have to use the squad cleverly, and you know, there might be games where he might have to sit on the bench and other players might have to do the same. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I think possibly he might be on the bench at the weekend, just in my opinion, because it's such a huge game for him to throw in. But obviously, depending on players travelling back from, you know, Brazil and all these countries playing internationals, you know, he might have to play him, but he's ready to play. He's a fit lad.
Many teams are accused when they arrive at the Etihad of parking one of these things behind me in front of the City defence, but that's not so when it comes to Jurgen Klopp's men and Liverpool FC, according to former Red Dom Matteo.
I think it's just such an intriguing game for, you know, so early into a season. I think both teams defensively haven't been perfect this season so far. Both been okay, but still conceded goals, and I think that's a part of the game which will be massive. I think whichever team defends the best in this game will probably turn out on top. I think attacking wise, it's very exciting. So many players from both sides that have got so many attacking options. I'd be interested to see who starts and who plays. Will Liverpool come to Man City and maybe be a little bit cautious? Maybe pick another holding midfield player? You know, will he play Henderson and Chan and maybe say to Emre Can to sit a little bit deeper rather than, you know, in the last couple of games he's been licensed to get forward and take part and score goals, etc. Or will he come to the Etihad and, you know, be a little bit more cagey, knowing the players he has, and he can hit City on the break? So there's a lot of ways that both managers could set up in this game. I think City will just play to win, as they always do at home, because you know, they've got such a good record at home. But I think Liverpool might counter-attack City, might come and sit deep, and when they win it, break fast on Man City.
Be no surprises, I think. I think Man City are going to win. Liverpool, decent start of the season, but just Man City at home especially. The way they're playing, the squad they've got, I think will be too strong for Liverpool.
Speed and power arguably make Benjamin Mendy and Kyle Walker two of the fastest backs in the whole of the Premier League. But how will their defensive qualities hold up against the likes of Mo Salah and Sadio Mane?
It's going to be a bit of cat and mouse, but obviously you've got Salah and Mane, both sides, who have got electric pace, up against Mendy and Walker, who are always going to want to go that way. And it all depends whether if Klopp says to his two wingers, which I'll be disappointed if he does, that you've got to sit in a little bit more, because that's going to be some contest going down both sides. We know Liverpool are strong in the middle of the park, a lot of energy, a lot of closing down, but then you look at the options that City have got with David Silva, Bernardo Silva, Yaya Touré's not started a game yet. Fernandinho looks to be the preferred option, sitting in front of the back three or the back four, whatever one it is. But everywhere around the pitch that there's going to be matchups that are going to be really interesting to watch. But I just feel that if it is going to be a close game, City have got the game changers on the pitch and on the bench that can make that difference.
Well, certainly potential-wise, Walker and Mendy probably are two of the best wing-backs, full-backs in Europe. They've both got so much potential, so much power going forward. I think defensively both got a little bit to learn still. And I think, like you just mentioned, I think the Salah and Mane down the sides for Liverpool are so good, and they're playing so well so early this season. Even in pre-season, you know, they were really on fire, scoring plenty of goals and getting loads of chances. And I think it's a real test. I think sometimes as a full-back, when I played there personally, you sometimes like to play up against someone who's one of the best players. It's a real test for you as a player, and I think Mane and Salah will fancy the chances, you know, against them two. And I think the other way around, I think them two will try and take the two wide lads for Liverpool back and try and attack Liverpool. So I think it's a real cat and mouse situation, which I like with full-backs and wingers. You don't see much of that anymore, but I think at the weekend we might get a game of, you know, the game could be decided in them wide areas.
Just how well Klopp and Guardiola get on remains open to debate. But one thing they will both agree on, though, is an international break is far from ideal preparation for a big game like this. Both
had a decent start. I think they both take 7 points. You know, if you offered them at the start of the season, both had pretty difficult games. You know, obviously City played Everton, got a draw. Everton and no pushovers this year. Made some good signings in Liverpool. You know, last game should be going into this game so much confidence. The international break probably came at a bad time for them. I mean, that's another factor we have to look into with the two sides. A lot of players away all over the world from both clubs, getting back. You know, are they going to be fit enough? They should be fit enough to play. It's an early kick-off on the Saturday, but I think that's another thing that both managers will be looking at. You know, is the fitness and the tiredness from a lot of travelling.
You know, whatever both managers thinking leading up to the game, there's internationals. You know, so whatever team they're thinking about at the minute, they're playing 12:30. You know, Coutinho's been away with Brazil, Jesus, Aguero, Fernandinho have all been in South America, and literally every position in both teams are taking up internationals, so they'll be keeping their fingers crossed leading into this game as well as to what team they can pick.
When we look at it, could this be one of those games at the end of the season? Could it be a title decider? Is it too early to say? I mean,
I think this is a game that both teams, you know, usually when Liverpool, Man City play, in my opinion, they expect to win most games, week in, week out. But when you're playing Man City for Liverpool, or you're playing against a Man United or an Arsenal or Chelsea, you go into it with a little bit more respect in a way that, you know, it could be a game that you have to be at your really best to win. Some games you can have a little bit of an off day and still get results, but I think against the big guns, especially Man City at the Etihad, you have to be at your best. And I think every game's important as we've seen it, and I think obviously the Klopp, Guardiola, you know, they're both top managers. They hate losing.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes if one can get one over on another one early, it's just a nice little. They like that, don't they? I think they like the pressure of the big games, leading up to them as well. The build up, the talk, and at the end of the day, listen, it could be a 0-0. You know, sometimes when you get a big game like this and there's so many players out there who can make things happen, sometimes you get the opposite. But I've got a feeling this weekend it could be a lot of goals in this game, because I just feel like the attacking players on show, it's going to be difficult for the defenders.
Scoreline, I can see City winning 3-1. I know Dom Matteo will say something a little bit different in his little bit, but you know, Dom just chats rubbish for a living.
What are their chances this weekend? I mean, obviously, Paul Dickov thinks Man City are going to win this. But
well, Paul would, wouldn't he? Let's be honest. You know, we always disagree on this fixture, me and Paul. I think we've both got claims that he obviously thinks City have got more than us going forward. I think we'll both be honest and say that defensively we're probably not as good as we both should be, but it's an intriguing one. I mean, I think the game might be a draw. I think it could be could be 2-2, 3-3. I think there's goals in this game. Paul obviously fancies Man City, and I can understand why, because they're strong at home. But I just think Liverpool, after beating Arsenal so well, I think they go into this game with a lot of confidence, and I just think Liverpool will be difficult to. I think Liverpool will score, and I think it'll be a difficult game for Man City, a lot difficult than what maybe they think.
So, Liverpool win for you?
No, I'm going to go for a draw. I think it'll be a score draw, maybe 2-2, 3-3. I think there will be goals. I hope there is. But hopefully Liverpool could get the victory. It would be good for me, and I can give Paul a little message after the game.
Both teams drew here at the Etihad back in March, with Liverpool beating City at Anfield. But this is a new season. Both sides have new players. So who will win this one? You can check out all the latest odds at betsafe.com, and remember, you've got to be in it to win it.